Hey guys, this is Jerry from Avocado Meat TV. Some of you in my local scene might call me Avocado, but I'm here to talk to you guys a little bit. This weekend we are having the last major event of the year, Lubbock Finale, and I'd like to take this time to, explain why I got into fighting games and why I'm in the FGC scene here in town. To begin with. So, the very first video game, like visually, that I ever laid my eyes on was Marvel vs. Capcom. I was a little kid, I was at my grandparents' house, and my uncle was still very young at the time. He was still a teenager. He had his friends over, and I heard the commotion through the living room. So I walked in there to see what was going on, and I see Spider-Man fighting Zangief. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Why is Spider-Man fighting a giant wrestler? Like, what's happening? And I noticed they had controllers in their hands, and I was like, dude, they're controlling the characters on the screen. They're playing a game. I was dumbfounded, clearly. And I thought, well, I would like to play that. And I don't remember that day if I did, but I do remember a few months or possibly a year or two later, that same uncle of mine ended up reaching out to me and told me, hey, I've got this console you can have. It's a Sega Genesis. It has 2 games on it. One of them is Sonic the Hedgehog. The other one is Mortal Kombat. It just goes to show how far we've come from Mortal Kombat 1 to Mortal Kombat 1. But that was my first exposure, those 2 games, Marvel vs. Capcom and Mortal Kombat. Fighting games, as I got older, like in my teenage years, kind of just fell off. Not that I didn't like them, it just wasn't my interest at the time. My interest at the time was action RPG video games, like God of War, Shadow of the Colossus, God of War, Devil May Cry. The action RPG was my go-to game, and that lasted all the way up until my mid-20s, and that's what I was into at the time. And as I turned 20, I got into Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, Sekiro, eventually until Elden Ring. These were all my games for years and years. I played Dark Souls 3 for 2 years straight, and I pretty much didn't touch anything else. And that's the reason why I didn't play a lot of fighting games, because I was distracted by all these other games. Not to kind of like bring down the mood, but 2 years ago I went undiagnosed with a very simple condition, but because I didn't treat it right away, or didn't know how to treat it because I didn't know what it was at the time, it basically, to sum it down, it caused oxygen deprived brain damage for me. And I don't know the severity of it, but I do know how I feel. I don't feel as bright or as sharp or as focused as I used to when I was younger. I just felt so much more sharper and fresh at the time. And what happened basically was one day I was at work, and the best way I could describe it is I had basically, my vision started to get blurry. When that would clear up, I would get tunnel vision. Like, you could be standing 5 feet in front of me, but you would look like you were 20 feet away. I would stare at my computer screen, and because my vision and my head just couldn't comprehend what I was looking at. My little 19-inch screen ended up looking like a movie theater. I was going through something at the time, and I didn't know what it was. My memory was going. I was waking up in the morning feeling like I was hungover. I was waking up feeling completely miserable and dealing with those symptoms all day, every day. As they say, I was starting to see like the shadow people, and things were not looking good. And I did the best I could to focus and to get through it. What I needed was not something you take. I dealt with these symptoms for about 5 months untreated because I didn't know what was wrong with me. I was waking up feeling terrible and I had no clue what was the matter with me. It wasn't until my fourth or fifth doctor's visit when I met my doctor, who she's still my doctor to this day, and I told her what was going on, and she's like, hold on. So she comes up to me, she checks my ears, my nose, she checks my mouth, my eyes, and she's like, lean back, say ah, which I do. She's like, you have sleep apnea. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you have sleep apnea. You have obstructive sleep apnea. She's like, you need to get tested. You need to get a sleep study. I was like, great. When can I do that? She's like, I will put in the request today and they should reach out to you in a couple weeks. Well, those couple weeks turned into 8 months. But luckily for me, I didn't have to go 8 months without some sort of treatment. I ended up getting a CPAP machine through my dad because he also has a history of sleep apnea. For 5 months, I didn't know what was wrong with me because the thing that was basically killing me was me being unconscious, trying to fall asleep. Trying to fall asleep with obstructive sleep apnea is like trying to grab air when you're underwater. You're literally struggling to breathe. And the only way you can breathe is by waking up. And by waking up, your brain is not resting. So not only was I dealing with oxygen deprived issues, I don't want to completely say brain damage 100%, but I just know I'm not the same as I was. My mind was not resting, which leads to attention deficit disorder, which I still have, which has led me to depression. I've been diagnosed 3 times with depression in the past 2 years. Anxiety. For me, I used to have it when I was younger, and I managed to get over it, but it has come back. I get these attacks where I'm having like phantom pains that are not there, like in my chest, in my head. But that's what I was dealing with at the time. And to help me recuperate and get back to normal, or as normal as I can be, as normal as I used to be, video games was something I learned to use as a tool to help me with that, because after dealing with all this and learning how sleep works and how important sleep is and how good it is for your brain and for your body and for your immune system, I learned that to help the brain basically heal itself, it needs new brain cells to form, which your brain does. It does create new cells, but there's ways to speed that up. Neuroplasticity, which is what my doctor told me. She told me neuroplasticity is where your brain basically learns to heal itself and go around any obstructions or any disability that the brain might have. And through practice, you can almost become like as normal as you possibly could. So I was like, okay, well, let me see what I can do. I learned that playing video games helps with that because you're using both hands and you're using your eyes and you're thinking. You're doing 4 or 5 things at once just by being in a stationary position. With that knowledge, I started playing Call of Duty more to train not only my reflexes in my hand, but my articulation in my left fingers, my dexterity in my left hand as well, and also my tracking and my memory. Because my memory was shot, my attention was shot. But you doing that helped me a lot in learning to lock the fuck in. So with that information and me practicing that, I was like, I can do something that's more intensive. And I needed to step the game up. Because for example, in Call of Duty, you can get into like a flow state and it's really good for you and it feels good and it's good for your brain, but there's only so much you can do when you reach like a plateau because of skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty. When you reach a certain point, you're pretty much kept at that point and you're punished for doing better, which is what brought me full circle to fighting games. When Virtua Fighter 5 came out, the remake, so at the time Virtua Fighter came out, I got a fight stick, and it had been sitting in my little cubby on my desk for like a couple years at that point. I need to use a fight stick. I can learn how to use both hands at the same time, stretch my brain out a little bit more, get the gears turning. So I played VF5 on that for a while, and then I just waited out until MK1 came out, and I was like, okay, MK1 is coming out. I played a lot of MK11. Let me play MK1 now. So I did, and after 4 or 5 months of playing Mortal Kombat 1, I'd gotten to the point where I was like, you know what? I need to test myself. Because I was playing ranked matches, and like for every 10 matches, I would lose like maybe 1 or 2, and I was doing that every day. And I was like, dude, I feel like I'm confident enough I can play someone in real life and win. So I reached out online on start.gg, and I looked for tournaments, and then that's when I found the Lubbock FGC. I believe it was West Texas Throwdown. I could be wrong with the name. Forgive me, Enrit. But I signed up for Mortal Kombat and Tekken 8. Now, at the time, I had not played Tekken 8 since Tekken 3, but the hype was too big. I was like, dude, there's no way I can't play this game. The hype is too much. It was like a wave that was coming from the distance. Like, you knew the hype was so big. I was like, people are so excited for this game. I got to get into it. I'm already playing fighting games. I'm playing Virtua Fighter. I'm playing Mortal Kombat. I got to play this game. So I got into that, and I'm still playing it. And at that tournament that I was talking about, I signed up for MK1, and I also signed up for for Tekken 8. And when I did the set for Mortal Kombat, it was a 1st to 5. No one signed up for it besides me and the TO. But that's okay. GG's. I won the first match, which made me happy as fuck. But then I lost the rest of the set, and honestly, that did not bother me. I was like, you know what, fine. I was like, I won one match. I was like, I gotta be doing something, right? An hour or two later, Tekken 8 started. I believe I won 1 or 2 matches. I don't remember. I have to go back and look, but I won at least 1. I know that, and I got eliminated. But just the experience of it all solidified it for me. I was like, dude, this is awesome, dude. I would love to just be around this more. And then Showdown happens every week now, and that's just the best. Like, I just love it. I know in person, for those that know me, I'm not very talkative. I can be. It's just that getting through that, breaking the ice around people that I see or that I'm barely getting to know takes a while for me. But yeah, that is why I have gotten into fighting games. That is my long story. Going from being the 3D era Mortal Kombat player for fun to dealing with sleep apnea and the damage it might have done to my brain. I never got it confirmed because I was too afraid to look. But I know I've been depressed. I've been anxious. I've been out of focus almost every day for the past 2 years. And fighting games helps me get through it. It helps me learn. It helps me play. It helps get the gears turning. And I'm hoping one day I'll be at 100% again. And I'll be able to learn more and just perform better. But that's my story. That's why I play fighting games. I'd love to hear y'all's story. I will be at Lubbock Finale doing interviews just like this. Some will be right there with me, whoever it is. But thank you all so much. I know this video is kind of long, but thank you all so much for listening. I will see you guys around. Trust me. I know I don't say it enough, but thank you guys so much just for showing up and just creating this whole like community and keeping it running and keeping it alive. And this is just the beginning. We're gonna go higher and farther from here. The scene is gonna grow, and I'm gonna be there to see it grow. And I hope you guys are around for it too. Thank you all so much. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.